morning everyone. I'm just going to give you a quick update video. Start of the week. I think it's pretty much in the same situation that we were in last time I spoke to you. Yeah, we're just going to continue the work on this side of the van. Side skirt coming back off soon, continue the arch repair, and then back into the booth for poly. Bit more prep work to do on that before poly. We're not spray polying the whole van like I mentioned in previous videos. It is just the areas which are affected most. It's an alternative to glaze essentially, so it's a sprayable filler that we spray on various areas. It just goes on a lot more smoothly and effortlessly than a glaze potentially would. Allows us to get things as flat as we possibly can. As I said previously as well, it's not going to be ultra smooth and flat, this one. It is a van after all, so it's still going to have a little bit of panel warp, a few ripples from certain areas I would have thought, but we are trying to get it as flat as we possibly can. TIG's continuing on with the bumper repairs, so we've welded this back together now, just smoothing it down for the next stages on the bumper repair. Yeah, it's nice and welded back together in any case. A little bit of low spots there to fill in, as there always will be, so we'll just go back in with some more plastic weld on that, and then yeah, into the next stages for that side of things. So coming along quite nicely. Okay, we're back in the booth then, ready for poly on this one. So done what looks like a terrible job of masking, but it's just because we're still in the middle of prep work, so we don't need to mask the van up, it's all going to be re-prepped anyway. So just a really rough mask to protect the areas that I just don't have any need for the poly to be anywhere near. But other than that, like I said, we've got to re-prep all of the front end of the van in any case. So just a rough mask for now. Next stage, as always, is to epoxy wet on wet the bare metal areas before we go anywhere near spray filler. Gives it the corrosion resistance and hopefully will make it last for years to come. So yeah, epoxy next, and then a couple of coats of our Novel spray polyester filler on next. back on the parts now. The van is still next door in its poly. Back on the parts repairs. Plastic welded this back together, little tab on both of them. Bumper is plastic welded back together now as well, so we just need to do some fine finishing work on that. Forgot to mention in the last video, we have also welded the towing eye cover over. We're going to smooth that off flush. Kev didn't want it on there, so it'll look nicer as well. Yeah, continuing with the parts prep today. So we've had a bit of a tidy up on the front bumper splitter. Kev did specifically say to me actually not to worry about this one, because I think it's been smashed up in the past quite a few times, and he wasn't too fussed about it, but I couldn't just leave it with a huge gap there, so we have tidied it up, got rid of that gap, made it nice and flush now. It is just fiberglass at the end of the day again, so it might get smashed off in the future, whatever the case may be, but I didn't want to leave it just as that big gap that it was. So, excuse the noises in the background. Yeah, so there we are. It's looking a lot better like that. All the parts next door in the booth, I'll show you those quickly. Just starting to line these up, then ready for the next stages. So we're going into epoxy with the bare metal as always, and then get the other bits and pieces in primer. Done some extensive repairs on the side skirts. Filled in the jacking covers, jack point covers. I don't know why they were on there in the first place. Again, at the end of the day, these skirts, not good quality, very, very flimsy, floppy fiberglass, so they're not the best in the world, but we've repaired what we can, and they should look decent for this van in question. Again, keep repeating myself, it's not a show van, but we are trying to get the best job out of it that we possibly can. So yeah, into high build primer next for all of these parts, hopefully in paint quite soon. Alright then guys, got all these parts into primer now, high build. I completely forgot to set the time lapse up. I was going to put it up in the corner, totally forgot. But never mind, there's plenty more paint footage probably coming in this week's video in any case. A little bit of a surprise for Kev, hopefully we've done the right thing with this. I've gone a bit off track, and we have decided to colour code the handles and the mirrors as well. Hopefully, Kev, if you're watching this, that's a good plan for you. That's a good idea. I'm sure it is. Get the colour, the splitter, and other bits and pieces colour coded, side skirts, etc. So, yeah, in my eyes, just makes sense to have everything nicely colour coded rather than horrible black plastic faded or grey faded mirror pieces and door handles. So yeah, a little bit of a surprise there thrown in for you. But this is all the parts. Oh, and obviously MRMs as well are going in. They're going to make a big difference to this van. Lovely looking things. So yeah, next plan with these bits and pieces is to sand it all back down again. Bit of wet on wet, ready for paint then for all these parts. And then it's on to the rest of the van prep. Get that done separately obviously, but I'm going to get these parts done first, and that'll be hopefully in the next few days now. Alright then guys, so this is the latest big project to hit the shop. Not so much because of what the car is, but because, well, it's a Jaguar XJS Hypersport, by the way, so it is very rare, quite a special thing. yeah, not so much because of that, but more so because of the hopeful working relationship that we've got going on with the company now. So we've teamed up with Classic Engineering in Cardiff. Initially, Nick, the owner, gave me a quick call over the phone, and we had a bit of a chat about various different things. Over the phone, he decided to make the 2.5 hour trip down to see us, have a coffee. Everything's happened very, very fast, and this is basically the first car that we've got in from them. They do ground up restorations, so this is the only car actually that's going to be coming to us in this state. It's been to 2 other body shops in the past, and they've both sadly failed to get the job done right, so it's come to us now to hopefully complete things. Creates a few issues for us in itself when they're like that, just because obviously we don't know what's happened previously, so we do need to go to a bit of a different extent on this one. But future cars coming from them, we've got several lined up already, and they will all be coming completely stripped down to a shell. They're acid dipped and then e-coated, so a lovely, lovely starting point for us. This one's got a lot of fiberglass on it, so we couldn't do that in the first place. But yes, anyway, long story short, we're hoping to have a really good working relationship now with Classic Engineering in Cardiff, and we will hopefully be taking on all of their paintwork for their future projects. They've got some really exciting things down there, so a lot of nice cars coming our way. No hurry on this one, as a lot of them, but we will be cracking on it with it fairly soon. See what we've got going on. I completely forgot to say in the previous video as well, this one is actually booked in for a front page magazine shoot on Classic and Sports Car magazine. So yeah, obviously that's really exciting for us as well. A lot of work, mind you, as always, but nothing we can't handle. So watch this space on this one. Looking forward to it.